Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you doing today? This is Tolu, and I'm bringing you the weekly review. And today is Tuesday, the 3rd of March, 2020. And we have just about two instruments. What we normally trade are the major currency pairs and gold, right? So what we have today basically are the USD CAD and the USD Swizzle. That's what we have on the watch list for today. For this instrument that we have in front of us, if you have a look, we are looking for any position to go long, which is to buy above this horizontal line, and then anyone to sell below this horizontal line. But now, while waiting for the market or for the price rather to push lower or to push higher above this and then wait for a pullback, we have an area here of supply or a flip zone, right? And I think if you look very well, some could call this a kind of, some could call this a kind of head and shoulders, where we have the left shoulder, you have the head, and then you have the right shoulder here. And you can see it has acted as right shoulder. Well, more or less we have two right shoulders now. We could also look at this as a QM, also known as the Quasimodo pattern, right? But basically, we're looking forward to this area now acting as supply, right? Where people will want to sell here, and then we're expected to push lower, and then we're expecting it hopefully to break out of this daily range. Because now the market seems to be ranging, and if the market should close as it is today, then based on the daily time frame, we would have an inside bar, right? Let me see if I can quickly show you that for better understanding, right? If we click on the daily time frame D1, let's zoom in a bit. Now this is what we're talking about. If you have a look at yesterday's candle, which was Monday, which is this is yesterday's candle, right? And then this is today's candle, this one. You can see that this is a candle inside this one, and so it's called an inside bar. So as it's an inside bar, we're expecting that this inside bar, as it's looking in this pattern, right? In this pattern, we're expecting it to drop further down. And that's why you would have some traders using Fibonacci as an example. And if you use the Fibonacci from here to here, that will probably give you around 50 to the 61.8 retracement marker, where you like to obviously place your trades. Let's put a Fibonacci there. We really don't need to use a Fibonacci as such. By the time you eyeball it, you have a better understanding of what you're looking at. And obviously this comes from experience. So now we put the Fibonacci, and you can see that it matches with our area of supply here, and that's about 50 to 61.8. So if you have to place a trade here to enter, which is obviously where I'm looking at for an entry, I place an entry here, my stop loss to be slightly above 61.8, and then our take profit could be on a conservative lane, could be here at this 0, or we would also see whether I could push lower, and then we could look for an area on the higher time frame, like 4 hours as an example, where we'll be expecting the market to do something. Now, if you look at this area where we're marking now, I just marked this area here based on support, resistance, or supply demand. Excuse me. If you have a look here, it acted as resistance, and then we had a little support here on the breakout, and then we had this here as support, another support, and then another support. And then we had a breach here, but we still acted as support as it clearly pushed higher. So if we break out of this area here, I would like to have a final take profit here. And obviously, I will update this as it goes. So basically, for every week that you'll be trading, you need to ensure that you have a trading plan. And my trading plan, number one, is to have a directional bias. Now, once you have that directional bias, then it's now for you to determine the direction that you're looking at based on your analysis. And this is my direction for the USD CAD for this week. So far, so good. I'm looking forward to selling, Right? So if I get an entry here, that would be good, and I'll update it so that you see, so that as we're talking about this before, the final outcome, maybe by the time we look at this on Thursday or Friday, I'm actually a swing trader, so I hold trades for about 3-4 days. Friday maximum, I'm out, right? I don't position my trades. I don't hold them for way too long. So this is what I'm doing here. This is what we can see, and I'll definitely update this as it goes. Now for the second instrument I'm looking at now, that would happen to be the Sweezy, that's the dollar Sweezy. And if you have a look here, this is also an interesting chart that we have here. Looking at this chart, clearly we can see that the trend is what? It's a downtrend. That's the first thing that jumps at us. So the directional bias for this now is for us to sell. And then we have marked these areas here as our areas of, where we would like to buy above and where we would like to sell below. So these are more or less our areas of interest. But once again, right, and you could also have a conservative entry as well. But once again, we have an area here that seems to be acting as supply, right? There's a difference between support and resistance and supply and demand. There's a slight difference between the way some traders look at them. So if you understand the two, it will give you a better understanding of what's happening in the market. And then if you have a look at this candle here, right, over here on this 1 hour time frame, it looks like a bullish pin. Excuse me. It looks like a pin where we have, some traders call this the FB, false break, right, or fake out. Now, for this false break, you'll be expecting, oh, false break, it's time to buy. It's a double bottom. Let's buy and then push it higher here. Excuse me. But excuse me. But looking at what we have over here, we're expecting this area here to act as supply. And if you look, it now seems to be pushing lower. I would like to see those that were buying on this candle, I'd like to see them get punished, where we have a strong close later, as the time now is almost 11 p.m. and then the market will be closing more or less for today, Tuesday, obviously to open immediately. So now I'll be expecting that these buyers here, because they have their stop loss here, obviously, the entry was probably here to buy. I'm expecting them to get punished here. And obviously that would be good for us that we're looking for sell opportunities over here at this supply level here, right? So based on what we have over here as well, let's quickly look at the 4 hours time frame. And if you look at the 4 hours time frame, it looks much cleaner and much clearer that we have a bullish engulfing, a bullish pin bar or a bullish hammer here. We can see now that with the follow-up, right, it didn't even break. That candle here did not break. So looking at this now, I'm expecting that this candle should be punished. Those that are buying based on this candle, that didn't wait for the break higher of that candle, we expect them to be punished, and I'm looking forward to the market pushing lower. If it plays out accordingly, where this USD Switzerland francs, we're looking for short positions to sell, and then also where on the CAD, that's the Canadian dollars, we're also looking for sell opportunities. So now let's see whether we could have news that could, give us that movement that we're looking at for tomorrow. The market is about to close for now. Obviously, we could probably move into a consolidating state as we're approaching the Asian session. New York will be closing within the next about 39 minutes thereabout. And then we have the Asian, that is the Sydney, Australia, followed by Tokyo session. And these sessions are notoriously known to be slow. So we obviously watch this from a distance and then update this in good time. So take note of these two instruments. Could have other ones that could pop up later. If they do, then we would look for entries and would obviously explain them so that you understand them better. Once again, if you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out and then we'll explain to you appropriately, right? So we'll update this shortly. Thank you, and thank you. Okay, so this is what we had based on our earlier analysis. Right, I'm just trying to map up the areas again of interest. And you can see that from the Euro USD, we talked about a bit earlier, and then the USD chart. You see that the price has already gotten to the area of take profit, but that's not what we even want to talk about. As a build up, we looked into how the market was going to move. And if you remember closely, we said about two key things. We said that the price, oh, I can't find my mouse. What's going on? Okay, sorry. So now we said that this was an area of supply here, supply, and then we got an entry when the price came back to retest. You can see how many retests we had on the supply. And obviously this was established, and we said we're looking forward to buying above here or selling below here. But while inside this range here, that's what we have over here, while inside this range. So I don't know why I can't see my mouse anymore. The mouse seems to be disappearing from me. Okay. Okay, send it now. Sorry, now while inside this range, we said obviously want to buy when it pushes higher and sell when it pushes lower. But then we noticed this area here of interest, that is the supply inside, that will give us the breakout. And then we got the breakout, and then price has now done the needful by actually dropping into the area. We have to go and look for this take profit area from the higher time frame, and it's now there. And you can see there's about hit a take profit and close for profits. Today is Thursday, the 5th of March, and that's what we have for this. Now, when it comes to the other one, let's have a look. Okay, this one has just closed, beautiful. This Euro USD, so that means that we had two good trades, and they worked accordingly, right? They went according to plan. So this is the second one here where we got our entry of, let me show you that area. We got our entry of this area of demand here, right? We were expecting that we would buy above here or sell below here because of the range, because of this range that we had earlier. We had an area of, all the price was looking forward to breaking out of this area. But then while inside that range, we had this demand here, established as demand, and we came back to retest here. We got our entry there, and then the rest is history. We got our entry here, take profit here at higher time frame. So we've gotten our take profit here. And then if you look at what we have here, obviously the Euro USD and USD CHF, they tend to move in separate, in opposite direction. Let's check our USD CHF, almost closed. This is more or less closed. Most times when I see this, I'll just come over here and close it manually, right? It's actually night time. I wouldn't want this trade, which I've gotten here, to now reverse on me. I don't usually do partial close. I take all my profits out. So this is what we have here. So now let's just close this manually so that we can go to bed. I'm just going to hit the close button. That's it. And we've closed, and then that is money in the bank. So now we're through. We had this USD card that we're trying to, take advantage of. But the area of interest, the price, first of all, reacted to it. Let me just draw you a map now. Price, first of all, reacted to it. That's over here. This was our supply. We pushed lower, and then we had the BOC rate statement that came out yesterday. And now that we had this solid push up, right, back into the range. right? But it has been in the range throughout, the back much higher into this range. It came out to test that area that failed, and now came back to test here. So obviously, can conclude that this is a pure ranging market that we have over here. This market is ranging here, as you can see. This is clearly shown, right? Now, what we have over here is a clear false break that would have caught a lot of buyers off guard, where you tried to buy on the breakout, and then the market did what? It rushed back all the way down to this area of support, which has obviously acted as resistance in the past, right? So that means that this is a nice flip zone, and we're expecting the market to get back to this point. And if you look at it, if anybody had placed a buy here, what would have happened? Obviously, that person would have cried and had a serious loss of about 120 plus pips thereabouts, which obviously would have easily blown anybody's account. So for this USD card, we got our entry, but because of this pushback higher, we had a small loss slightly above here. Our entry was here. We're trying to hold it to see whether it can push higher. Our stop loss was slightly above. We're actually looking for the market to push lower to this area of take profit here, and then we call it a day, right? That's the kind of profit that we're looking for. So this is another nice flip zone that we can see here that's acting as support, and resistance, and so on. So if you're looking at the market from different angles, right, whether as the buyer or as the seller, one thing you must always ask yourself is, where is price coming from? Where is price going to? What is price doing now? What price is doing now could obviously give us a heads up as to what the price most likely might do in the nearest of future. So when looking at this, it's also to do our analysis and then see how we can easily take advantage of this market. So this was just a quick review talking about the market for the instruments that we looked at: Euro USD, USD Switzerland franc, and then the USD card. These were the ones that we got interested in. And then we had some nice entries here. This is just gold, but didn't really have anything on gold as such. But trust me, for those that traded gold, obviously this week we were buying, and obviously you are buying because of what you are seeing, and then I push it higher for this week, right? It's just for you to look for the areas of interest for you to get your entry, right? The areas of interest for you to get your entries, and before you know it, you get your nice entries, and then you follow it higher and higher. So now we're through with the analysis for the first week of March, and tomorrow, which happens to be the 6th of March, we're going to be having NFP, and trust me, the NFP is slated for tomorrow for about 2:30 p.m. That's Nigerian time. Trust me, that NFP should be explosive. Who knows? But only time will tell, right? Based on the numbers expected on the unemployment rate, who knows? By the end of the day, we don't trade based on forecast as such. We wait for the market to do its thing, and then we react accordingly to get better entries. So I'd like to say thank you. I hope this week was a fruitful one for you. We'll meet up same time next week and do the same thing over and over again of looking at the directional bias, whether the market is going to push higher, push lower, whether it's inside the range and we need to break out of the range and so on. And this will help us to get our trade accordingly. Before you know it, the business of forex trading will start to get easier and straightforward. And before you know it, you are just cashing out. Obviously, you would have losses as well, but you'll be making more profit than losses. So we want to say thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day. I don't trade Fridays based on my trading journal. So NFP, if you're trading NFP, do be careful and look out and watch out for whipsaws, volatility, due to volatility in the market, and also the spread most likely will increase based on different brokers. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your week. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and of course, good night from wherever you are in the world. Goodbye.